Hi, I thought that it was time for another chess video because it's been a while. I was black in this game. The time control was 2 minutes with 2 seconds on each move. My opponent played e4, and we have the Sicilian d4, c takes d4. I don't need to comment too much on these moves, except that instead of a6, I've started playing knight to c6 quite a lot. Yeah, the Richter Auser, perhaps. a6 will give you the knight off. Well, I actually played 2 games with this knight to c6 move. Nothing strange or unusual about that. It's very well known. But my opponent before this one played bishop e3, and I responded with something like, I think I will play this in like 8 or 9 case out of 10. I play knight g4, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, g5, bishop g3, bishop g7, and here my opponent, I think he took my knight actually. Not quite sure why. I looked back and then he played bishop e2. I responded with h5, h3, h4, and here it took. I took here. And then I think he took back. I played queen a5. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. Maybe he castled here or something. I'm not exactly sure, but let's see here, queen a5, let's say castle, I'm not 100% sure. And here I just took that one, like this, and then I think he took here, I went here, then he played this move. I think I gave a check here, he went here, and I played e6, I think. Yeah, but that game ended in a draw. Pretty okay. I like this line with the bishop e3 move. So I will usually play knight to g4. But in this game, my opponent played bishop g5 instead of bishop e3, and I played e6, which is the most common move, I believe. Yeah. e6. He played f4, bishop e7. He took my knight. I think the most common move here is queen d2, but he took my knight, I took back, and then now queen f3. He sees that I have a loose pawn here on c6, so maybe he wants to play at some point e5, and then, well, if I do something crazy, he will just win my pawn. But obviously after e5 I can just play knight to d5, which by the way, he could have tried even here, I think, e5. And followed by knight d5, take, takes, and now there's a pawn hanging on f4, so you probably take, and I will take back, and I don't know, let's say bishop e5, either king e7 or bishop d7, let's say bishop d7 for example, takes, castle, c4, rook f to d8, takes, and that's actually the end of the line, I believe. Probably an equal game. White does have 2 pawns on the queen side, but I think it's close to impossible to make anything out of those 2 pawns anyway. So, okay, e6, f4, bishop e7, knight takes, b takes, queen f3 instead of e5, like I said, d5. He castle along, pinning my pawn. Obviously, if I take, he would just take with check, and I'll lose my queen for a rook, so I play queen a5. Monitoring his king side. Maybe I want to put a rook on b8 and start pushing my pawns or something. He played e5, I played knight g8, I took back, and now he started attacking my king side with g4, which is okay, I believe. I played rook b8, he played f4, giving up a pawn. Maybe he thought that he could afford that, now that just opening up lines against my king here. So I took the pawn. Bishop d3, takes, queen b4. Well, it looks dangerous, but really there's nothing there. I can't really do anything. He has very strong point. After b3, it's very difficult to actually break through. I have to use my a pawn. But I think a5 is a little bit premature here because I should have castled here instead. It doesn't really accomplish anything. So he played e6. Well, I can't take the pawn, but then I lose my castling rights, and that's probably a mistake. well, let's say for example if I take, then this pawn will be very weak anyway, as well as the fact that I can't castle unless I lose another move by playing a knight to f5 and then castle, unless he try something else. But I played f6. I also could maybe castling would have been better, but I played f6. It looks like he can just mess up my pawn structure here. But, well, to some degree he can. He played queen h5 check, I played g6, and I already saw queen h6, but it doesn't accomplish anything because after knight f5 he has to move his queen anyway. And now I castled. He played rook g1, threatening to win my knight actually, because if I just make a silly move here like, I don't know, rook b7, then he can just take my knight and I can't take back because the pawn is pinned. So I play knight g7, preparing perhaps f5 and then pick up the pawn on e6. He played rook g4, threatening my queen. I played queen d6, rook h4, h5, rook g3, g5. So I'm kind of kicking his rooks around. He played rook a4. I think I was also looking at something like rook takes, h5, knight takes, queen takes, but I don't think it works. You know, this was a blitz game, so anything can happen in blitz. He played rook a4, attacking my pawn, so I took his pawn on e6. And instead of trading queens, which and I kind of understand that. I mean, even if he'd take my queen, I'll take back, and he wins this pawn. He's down a pawn anyway, and I have a bunch of pawns in the center. I think black is better in any case, whether he takes this pawn on a5 or not. Even though you could argue that these pawns could potentially be dangerous, but remember I have a c6 pawn and a d5 pawn as well as two rooks and a knight. I think it's easier for black to create some threat using his h5, g5 and f6 pawns rather than these three guys over here. So he didn't want to give up there, and I suppose I can understand why. I mean, it looks like white actually has something going on, but he doesn't really have anything. It's like an optical illusion. Queen g2, rook a8, just protecting my pawn, h4, g5, sorry g4, rook d3, f5. I want to play f4, f3, f2 and so on. Knight e2, rook f8, knight f4, check, rook g1. He could have played king b2 as well. Rook d8, queen e3, check, king b2, rook e4, takes. And here we ran out of time. I think black is winning anyway. I mean, especially now I'm up 2 pawns and I have these pawns on the king side as well as potentially 2 passed pawns here as well. Yeah, so he lost some time, and I think it was an okay game. Just to go back a little bit to the opening. I like knight to c6, especially the one followed by bishop e3. Not saying that black is better, but it does become a little bit more interesting that way. But again, my opponent played bishop g5 in this game, and we had the move order that I already showed with e6, f4, and so on. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this quick look at a game that I had played recently.